They exchange glances until she asks why he's there. Ji-hyun replies that he was heading to the new product trial event, but since the car was stifling, he decided to get out nearby and walk. He quickly gets his turn to ask and questions what she's doing in the area. Jung-oh replies that she studied at a nearby university and was strolling down memory lane. He asks if she's had dinner, to which she replies no. Then he invites her to eat together, since he hasn't eaten either. However, she turns down the idea and suggests they should head to the trial event, guiding him to follow her. But before he can follow her, he starts getting lots of work calls. Noticing this, she asks if she should go ahead, but he says no. At that moment, the team leader calls Jung-oh, asking if she's already at the event and informing her they'll be a bit late. She admits dealing with advertisers was tough and suggests Jung-oh go home for dinner and meet them at the event later. Ji-hyun asks what the team leader said. Jung-oh replies that something came up, so the rest of the team will be late. Given the situation, the director suggests they take the opportunity to grab something to eat. So she takes him to her favorite pork cutlet restaurant. But upon entering, she's surprised. He asks if she's okay, and she says yes, though internally she admits she feels no nostalgia. Jung-oh brought him to the old pork cutlet place they used to visit, hoping it would spark some memory. But she didn't expect the interior to have changed completely. Even the menu is different. Even the food, when she tastes it, she realizes it's not like it used to be. She says everything in the restaurant has changed except its name, just like Jang Ji-hyun. But at least, it's still delicious. The cutlets. While eating, he calls her and says she shouldn't worry about what Chae Yunbi said yesterday, since he doesn't care either. Hearing that, Jung-oh asks if he means he doesn't care about her claims. He replies that he understands there were circumstances and hopes the situation didn't hurt her feelings. She thinks he's apologizing for what Chae Yunbi said. She assures him it's fine, that her father's story didn't hurt her, as he hasn't been in her life since birth. Then he asks about her ex-boyfriend, if they get along. She looks confused and asks what he means. Ji-hyun clarifies if her ex is doing well and still breathing. She hesitates, wanting to know why he's asking, and he says he's just curious since she said he resembled him. But mentally, she thinks it's not that he resembles him, but that he is him. Still, she can't say it and states he's doing fine and probably eating something tasty right now. However, the director comments he hoped he wasn't alive, and that it's a pity. The assistant chuckles lightly and says she hopes he's living well, but at the same time, she wishes that at night he feels hungry and finds nothing to eat. She also hopes he thinks he won the lottery, only to discover he read the numbers wrong. Additionally, she hopes that after working diligently on some data for 3 hours, he forgets to save the file and loses all his progress. The director, hearing all that, smiles and moves his hand toward Jung-oh's face. But after exchanging glances, he realizes what he's doing and quickly pulls his hand back. After that brief moment, Jung-oh says she's talked a lot about herself and asks him to talk about himself now. She brings up what she heard about his car accident and asks if he was badly injured. He replies that it happened 7 years ago and he's fully recovered. However, the assistant adds that she heard he lost his memory. That makes Ji-hyun pause for a moment and say she seems to know a lot about him. She explains she read a news article about it, but Ji-hyun is sure the article didn't mention his name. Then he asks if she looked up more information out of pure curiosity. She denies it and reveals that it was the team leader who told her, but realizing what she just said, she asks him to pretend he didn't hear her mention the leader, leaving him a bit puzzled. Finally, he reveals he remembers nothing from when he was 24 to 26, meaning he lost about 3 years of memories. He also mentions he was told his personality changed a bit. He adds that he probably lost most of his military service memories, which he considers not very important. But Jung-oh disagrees. She tells him he doesn't know, that he's not even aware of what he forgot, and questions how he can be sure whether those memories were useless or not. She also asks if he's ever tried to recover his memory. She raises the possibility that he might have lent or borrowed a large amount of money during that time. He replies that if he really had lent someone money, that person would have come looking for him, and if he had borrowed money, then there'd be nothing he could do now. That attitude irritates the assistant, as she realizes he has no desire to recover his memories. After eating, they start walking toward the event. Along the way, Jung-oh reflects that neither Ji-hyun nor those around him seem to try to help him recover his memories. Or maybe they're doing it on purpose so he doesn't remember. Even so, she feels the need to know more about his mother, convinced that there must be something in her that explains everything. That's why she'll stay strong and keep going. She's determined to give it her all no matter what happens. As they step outside, flowers begin to fall, reminding her of the moment her daughter learned about the seasons. The little one pointed at fallen leaves and said a single leaf meant autumn had arrived. She sadly thinks she couldn't share that beautiful moment. She remembers a particular day when she cried seeing flowers bloom out of season. It reminded her of a season that once felt eternal, but can vanish with a single fallen leaf, seen by an innocent child. She wonders if someday she'll be able to share all that with Jaehyun. She hopes. Jong Ji-hoon regains his memories on his own. She can't go to him, but if he comes to her, she'll be ready to move forward. Silently, she asks him not to give up, to try his best and stay strong. She thanks him for the meal and says she'll now guide him to the trial event venue. She also tells him she hopes he remembers, because she believes those memories are not useless. One of them might even be his most precious memory, hidden in a far-off corner where no one else can find it. Like a time capsule, something very precious. And she hopes, from the bottom of her heart, that he doesn't get hurt in the process. Just then, she receives a message. As she turns to inform the director, they end up bumping into each other. She reflects that even after 7 years, there are things she can recognize at a glance. And this time, that glance is clearly melodramatic. But suddenly, she becomes alert. After bumping into him accidentally, she demands to know what he's doing. She tells him to apologize right away, adding that it's to say it wasn't intentional. She advises him not to behave so recklessly with anyone, anywhere, and angry, throws a direct question at him, reminding him that he's getting married soon. She walks away upset, while the director remains confused, wondering, who's getting married? Soon after, his friend answers a call Ji-haeon had made. He says he was just thinking about him, but Ji-haeon wants to ask something specific. He wants to know if there are rumors at the company that he's getting married. His friend, confused, asks him to clarify what he means. Ji-haeon insists, asking if he's heard anything about it. His friend finally admits he's heard rumors that he's dating manager Chae Yoonbi. However, he knows nothing about marriage and also recalls that Ji-haeon hasn't been at Mac's planning for long. Ji-haeon nods, understands the situation, and thanks him for the information. Later that night, someone complains that everything is a hassle and wonders why such things happen to her. It's the red-haired girl who claims everything would be different if it weren't for certain people. At that moment, the director appears and calls her over to talk. He asks how the work environment is, and she replies that it's fine. However, he clarifies that he called her to ask something specific, if she's heard any rumors that he's getting married. She defensively replies that she didn't start any rumors. Then, the director asks if it was manager Chae Eunbi who mentioned it. The redhead replies that it's no longer just a rumor, it's something everyone knows. She says he and manager Chae Eunbi are getting married this year. Upon hearing that, Ji-haeon assumes Eunbi must have made that statement. That's why he asks the redhead to tell him everything that's being said about him. She says everyone knew even before he joined the company. Ji-haeon, elsewhere, reflects in surprise that he was about to get married without even knowing it, and decides he needs to fix that misunderstanding immediately. But before he can act, he is called over by some colleagues. It's the general director of Mac's planning, Seo Jong-soo. Jong-soo says he knew Ji-haeon was there and thought he had already left. He adds that, according to him, Ji-haeon said he would personally prepare the monthly report. But Ji-haeon, confused, wonders when he ever said that. Jong-soo tells him to hurry up, that he'll help with it, and if he does it well, he'll look good in front of the president. However, Ji-haeon declines, clarifying that he actually intended to go to a wine tasting, something that ultimately didn't happen. The next day, Ji-haeon is exhausted but finally finishes the report. He reflects that he couldn't attend the wine tasting and spent the whole night working. He decides to go home and rest a bit, then return later to review the monthly report, promising to fix anything wrong. However, being so tired, he forgets to save the file. When he realizes the mistake, he wonders what he just did, recalling Jung-go's words. He thinks this might be the curse against Lee Jung-go's ex-boyfriend, but doesn't understand why it's affecting him. Meanwhile, at her workplace, The assistant receives a message from Secretary Yoon, informing her that the director is calling her and asking her to go to his office. When Jung-oh arrives, she looks inside and then tells the secretary he's not there. The secretary replies that the director asked her to wait inside, as he's on his way from the main office. The assistant enters and sees cookies on the table. She thinks he doesn't even eat them and wonders why he leaves them there. She suspects it's as if he leaves them just for her to eat. She also mentions that he didn't show up at the wine tasting the night before. Although she expected it because, after all, he's going to marry Chae Eunbi, that thought reminds her of something from the day before, in the bathroom at the wine tasting event. There, she overheard Eunbi telling Jaehyun's mother that she was at an event and hadn't seen her message. Eunbi explained that he had something to do and couldn't attend the event, asking if she had spoken to him. She also mentioned that maybe he would talk to her about marriage, since he had hinted at it once. Jung-oh thinks Eunbi was definitely talking to Jaehyun's mother. She believes Eunbi doesn't know anything about what happened between the two of them, and that there's no need to tell the future daughter-in-law about the ex-girlfriend. She sincerely hopes they have a perfect and uncomplicated wedding. Back in the present, the director asks manager Yoonbi to come with him for a moment. Hearing that, she finds it strange, as usually she's the one who seeks him out. She wonders if it's due to pressure from his mother, and whether they're finally going to talk about the wedding. When they enter the office, Yoonbi asks what's going on, but the man turns around and asks why he's hearing rumors that they're getting married. He asks her to tell the truth, questioning if he ever asked her to marry him. Eunbi doesn't know what to say, but he presses her to just tell the truth. Finally, she says she thought they'd get married someday. However, he asks why he would do something like that. He adds that she's mistaken, and that he has no interest in being involved with her that way. Eunbi replies that he doesn't have a girlfriend anyway, and wonders if that isn't the most convenient option for him. She also reminds him that 7 years ago, if she hadn't reported the hit and run, he would be dead. She says he should be grateful she saved his life, that he's the one who should be thankful, but she's the one who's done everything, calling his mother, sending gifts every week. He asks why she bothered doing all that, and whether he ever asked her to. Eunbi replies that everyone said they'd be together, and that he should have made the same effort as she did. But Jaehyun clarifies that the whole idea of being together was just to calm a strange rumor from 4 years ago. It was just about agreeing on what to say in public. After that, she should have let everything go, not continued feeding the lie. He tells her to put an end to the situation and gives her 1 week to sort it out. For now, he says he'll overlook her exaggerations and lies. Eunbi, shaking with anger, accuses him of being unfair. She asks how he can treat her like that after everything she's done for him. Jaehyun thanks her for what she did 7 years ago and says he'll prepare an appropriate compensation. Opening the door, he tells her she can leave now and adds that he's expecting a guest. Before leaving, Eunbi stares at him and warns that he'll regret this. Then she leaves, slamming the door behind her. Jaehyun remains silent, and he's not the only one. Jung-oh is also silent, hiding behind the couch. She reflects with amazement on what she just heard. She's shocked to learn Jaehyun won't marry Eunbi, and even more so to discover that Eunbi has been spreading false rumors. She wonders what's really going on, but tells herself she'll think about it later. Right now, the most urgent thing is to get out before he sees her. However, Jaehyun spots her. He asks if she heard everything, and tells her to get up and come out already. Many thanks to the channel members, Rafioltron, Sweetie, and for their valuable support to this project. That said, see you in the next video.